When ATMOS is done right, it makes a whole world of difference. I got the 4K UHD Steelbook edition of Drive. Let's talk about it. Alright, let's take a look at the menu real quick. We've got a setup section. You can choose Dolby Atmos, English 5.1, English 2.0, and Spanish stereo, DTS HD. And then subtitles, of course, English and Spanish. At least that's how it is in the US release. And you can choose to go to a specific scene, of course. That's normal. And we've got some extras. Back in the driver's seat. Whatever. It's pretty bare bones. Let's just put it at that. It's got one documentary and the theatrical trailer. Although I am curious if the Blu-ray copy, because it comes with both 4K and Blu-ray standard. So maybe the Blu-ray has more extras. Let's take a look. Okay, here's the standard Blu-ray. Funny enough, on the standard Blu-ray, that's where the previews are. I couldn't just skip straight to this, main menu. I had to skip past all the previews, and there was, I think, 6 that I had to skip past. There was a lot. Anyway, play movie, subtitles, scene selections, special features. I drive, under the hood, driver and Irene, cut to the chase, drive without a driver, Entretien avec Nicholas Winding Refn. I don't know. And previews. So yeah. Lots more on the standard Blu-ray if you're wanting more behind-the-scenes stuff. So that's good. And get more on BD Live. So if you're into BD Live, you can get even more special features and behind-the-scenes looks. So there you have it. At least they give you that option. So you can watch the excellent 4K crispy Dolby Atmos version on 4K. But you can pop in the standard Blu-ray to get more behind-the-scenes stuff. If you're like me and you want to know how it was made. Hooray! Just to give you a heads up, for those thinking of picking up a copy after watching this, I say it's a fantastic Atmos experience not because it's bombastic or that it's balls to the wall action all the time, but because you can tell that the director was meticulously using audio as a storytelling tool, not just a way to make the story sound good or be well mixed. What I mean by that is anyone who has seen this movie before can attest to its pacing, which is slow. There are moments when a particular shot lingers a little longer than you would expect before cutting to another person or another scene altogether. Ryan Gosling's character himself sometimes takes what seems like an eternity just to answer a question that has been asked of him. But you soon realize it's just a character choice. He's just a laid-back, quiet, reserved kind of guy. But when necessary, he turns into a stone-cold killer who also happens to be really good behind the wheel of a car. Same with the audio, my friends. There are plenty of quiet scenes where people are just having a conversation, character development is happening, exposition is happening, people talking on the phone with one another, etc. But you need those subdued moments to really sell the scenes when the action picks up. The opening scene in which we meet Ryan Gosling's character as a getaway driver to some random thugs that need to make a quick exit after getting loads of cash. It quickly brings you into the world and sets the tone immediately. Revving the engine and peeling around corners trying to evade the police? Loud. Quickly pulling the car over, turning the lights off, killing the engine and waiting for the nearby police car to go away? Quiet. Meanwhile, the tension is through the roof because of the music, which I'll get to in a minute. But you are immersed in this world through audio. Since the thugs aren't saying much, Ryan Gosling, of course, isn't saying much, so it's just the streets of LA at night, the sound design, and the music. A recipe I can get behind. And there is a moment where he's evading a helicopter by hiding under a freeway overpass. I had to listen to that part twice because the Atmos was so convincing the first go around. So I turned off the amp that powers my 7 ear level speakers so that just the 4 height speakers are playing audio. Sure enough, nothing but helicopter loudly coming out of the heights. Besides rain, one of the quintessential tests for height speakers is hearing a helicopter above your head, right? And this movie delivered. Later on, there's also a scene where money has been exchanged and one of the characters exits a building. It's quiet, birds are softly chirping, and bam! He gets shot through the window. If you weren't aware already, I personally have what's called phonophobia, a fear of loud noises. And that gunshot was loud. Scared the hell out of me. Yes, I've seen this movie before, but not on a system like I have in my theater. So yeah, this was new to me. Anyway, thugs come out of the building and shoot this character a few more times, each shot being just as impactful. Man, some of the loudest gunshots I've heard in a movie ever since The Way of the Gun for me personally. Then that scene turns into a car chase scene that is brilliantly mixed with excellent sound design. Again, engines revving, tires squealing, cars sliding and almost going off a cliff and tumbling into the ravine below. It's phenomenal. There are more loud scenes with excellent sound design, but I just wanted to highlight those because that's the experience. This push-pull, loud, quiet vibe, as if the movie itself is breathing. And the thing that binds it all together is the incredible retro ambient electronic score by Cliff Martinez. If there's one thing I love about movies, it's when the music is its own character. There Will Be Blood is another that comes to mind. But in Drive, there are so many scenes where all you hear is music. No sound effects, no dialogue, as if it's a music video. But these aren't all montages, people. It's just part of what drives the story forward. See what I did there? There were a couple more moments throughout the movie in which I just turned off the ear level speakers and only listened to the heights. And for much of the movie, the music is coming out of the entire front soundstage and the front heights to give it this big sound. Not so much music in the rear heights, just FYI. I put my ear next to them when the music was playing and not much was coming out. A bit, but not much. But having that wall of music up front was spectacular. So yeah, it's not the greatest Atmos experience in that there's always crazy stuff happening in the heights, but the entire 3D soundstage is used so effectively when it needs to be. Loud, quiet, loud, quiet. And man, that soundtrack is great. I would recommend this, but it's not for everyone. I can guarantee that. It gets pretty gory at times for one, so anyone squeamish about that might want to skip it, to be honest. But I'm definitely glad I now have this in my collection. And honestly, that about wraps it up, folks. I personally think this is just a really good movie. When the action picks up, it picks up, and it is loud, and it is effective. So what say you? Do you already own Drive? Do you plan on getting it now? Was it a whole new experience hearing it on your own home theater system? Let's start a conversation in the comments below, people. As always, this world is crazy as it is already, so it only makes sense to be kind to one another out there. Don't just watch Drive, experience it in 4K UHD and Dolby Atmos. And of course, always be listening.